Now let's go back to one of our top stories, our report that President Obama and the Iranian president have spoken by phone. For the first time, the American and Iranian leaders have spoken in more than 30 years. Well, how is this latest move by the two leaders being perceived? Jamal Abdi is Policy Director of the National Iranian-American Council in Washington. Jamal, putting aside the fact that this all kind of took place on Twitter, and I think Rouhani scooped President Obama by announcing the phone call on Twitter, the conversation itself, the fact that it took place, were you surprised by this?
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting that on his way to the airport to leave New York City, Rouhani was going to be receiving a phone call from Obama. So I'm pleasantly surprised. I think this is a historic moment. And, you know, all week people have been anticipating this potential handshake, this big photo op. It didn't happen. There was some disappointment there. But I think what we ended up getting was something that may be more significant and more substantial, and something that Rouhani can take home and say, look, this new path that I've embarked on has actually delivered some promise.
We can't really underestimate the significance of this. The first time since 1979 that leaders at this level have spoken to each other directly. But why now? I know there's been a real change in mood music between Iran and the US in New York this week, but why do you think the temperature has changed now?
Well, the bottom line is that the conflict between the U.S. and Iran is unsustainable. I mean, the two countries are on a collision course for a military conflict. And I think the most significant thing that has happened here is that Rouhani got elected. The Iranian people voted for a change in path, a change in course. Unlike 2009, their voices were heard. And now we actually have a president on the U.S. side and a president on the Iranian side who are committed to finding a diplomatic way out of this. And that's something that we have not had before. So I think it's a matter of the two sides sort of syncing up and looking for an off-ramp from this course that was looking pretty disastrous.
Yeah, but what are the dangers here of this direct contact, and perhaps each side not wanting to give too much away? I mean, they've still got some tightropes to walk, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, both Obama and Rouhani are dealing with domestic pressure. You know, anytime either of them sort of go out on a limb and extend this outreached hand, they're getting hit from hardliners at home. In Obama's case, Congress has ramped up sanctions. Even today, after this historic phone call, you had members of Congress issuing press releases condemning Obama for daring to talk to the Iranian side. And then on the Iranian side, Rouhani, he has apparently the imprimatur of the supreme leader for going forward with this path. But this is a short-term opening that he has. If he can't prove that he can actually win Iran some benefits from actually compromising, it's going to be back to the old way, and hardliners are going to close in on Rouhani and prevent him from being able to make a deal. So I think that's why both sides are looking to do this take very bold steps, and they want to get this done. They want to get some traction in the negotiations in a very short period of time. People are talking about 3 to 6 months for an agreement.
Jamal Abdi from the National Iranian-American Council in Washington. Good to talk to you. Thanks very much.
My pleasure.